Loudest one wins with Nathaniel and the three tips. Loudest one wins with Nathaniel and the three tips. Loudest one wins with Nathaniel and the three tips.
So what's first on the
So,
docket, Tim?
no, man. First is some business. We got some goddamn fucking business to clean up here,
Mm-hmm.
and that's to everyone listening right now. All you motherfuckers are not pulling your weight. Because when I posted our last episodes on Spotify, Spotify said that for podcasts like ours, where they are in their development, they
Mm-hmm.
usually have 4 followers. We have one, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it might be me. So
It's pretty funny. I don't even follow the podcast.
shut up. You're not helping. All I'm saying is everyone listening, throngs of people, the masses tuned in right now, listening live, wherever you are in your car, in a bunker in the desert, wherever you are, you need to do more.
To pull your weight.
You need to follow us on Spotify, on YouTube. We're on Instagram. Are we anywhere else?
We're on TikTok.
We're on
Twitter.
TikTok. We're on Twitter.
Yeah, we actually got a
Loudest
YouTube.
One Wins.
We got a YouTube follower the other day.
Oh, really?
We're getting people in our comment section. It seems like it's like the space one. It's like when we talk about AI stuff and space stuff. So I think we're building a nerdy fan base. That's our things.
I mean, we are experts in the field. So
Yeah.
if you're looking for, the type of takes and the type of information that cannot be disputed,
Mm-hmm.
you come here.
Yeah.
We've got it.
My PhD is in astrology, so I'm an expert.
Yeah. And I got a bunch of letters in space stuff too.
Yeah.
So
I had a
I
telescope when I was a kid once.
I grew up in the country. Unfiltered access to the night sky. No light pollution at all. It's like I was walking on the stars.
Yeah. It's pretty.
I mean, I'm more of an astronaut than Neil Armstrong.
It's pretty good qualification. That was fake anyway. Like, can we agree the moon landing? That was like that's some Hollywood stuff. They were...
You gonna stand in front of him and say that?
Yeah, it's like moon
I
landing
don't know,
was
man.
fake.
Anybody to throw a punch like that when somebody says that shit, I kind of feel like it was real. You know?
Yeah,
He's not having that.
I've seen some stuff on the the fake moon landing conspiracy. I don't know. It's hard to like believe anything, you know.
I mean, what is real?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it wouldn't surprise me if they faked it, but I also don't. Who knows, you know? I think there was just like a lot of stuff around that time period, like a lot of CIA stuff. Like I think they were just messing with the Russians, you know. It's like if we could convince them we flew to the moon, they're gonna waste millions of dollars trying to copy us, you know. You know, that was like with the astral projection and they did a bunch of weird stuff like that where I think it was all just fake.
I saw a thing that like moon dust is highly toxic because of the lack of atmosphere and wind and elements. It's very sharp, like crystals, instead of like the rounded stuff. So like if you breathe it in, it can like really fuck you up. And because there's no atmosphere, it's like it can be highly radiated too.
Yeah. Now that we bring that up, I think one thing I was watching with the moon landing, because like there are real people that think it was fake. I think apparently because there's no atmosphere, I think you could actually like look with a telescope and like see the spot. Like I think the spot's still there. Like
Yeah, these footprints.
yeah, it's like one of those things. Like if I cared about it enough, I could literally buy a telescope and look for myself to see. Like I think there's still a fucking flag up there, you know. Like the moon doesn't rotate, so you should still just be able to see it, you know. I don't care enough. I'm just gonna say it's fake, you know. And not do the bare minimum research.
I mean, honestly, I just log it away in one of those things like, does it fucking matter?
Yeah, that one, it's not that cool anyway. Like, I think there's a reason they went to the moon once, then they never went back again, because it's like, cool, we did
They went to
that.
the moon multiple times.
No, with people, though. Or
Yeah, they went multiple times. There were
I guess
multiple missions that went to the moon.
they did multiple. I guess they haven't done it in a long time. Like we had that,
Right.
we had that
They
phase, and then we're kind of like, okay, we're over it, you know.
well, we went there like 10 times. Like, there's not a lot on the moon. Like, we gathered a bunch of rocks and took a bunch of samples, and at a certain point, it was just like, I mean, the car is going to cost too much to repair and too much to fill up to make the trip. So we're just not going on vacation this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you can just send like robots and shit into space. It's like you don't really need to send people. You know, it doesn't make a whole lot
Hmm.
of sense unless, like, for the first time, we were just kind of saying like to prove that we could do it. You know,
Well, I
now,
mean, we didn't have like robot technology then, though, like we
right,
do.
right.
It developed since.
And part of it was though just to say we could do it. Like that's what the Russians were like. Yeah, we put a dog in space. You know, it's like
Well, remember that they put fruit flies in space too. They've
uh,
been shooting up all sorts of weird shit into space.
yeah. Like part of it is there's some legitimate science. Is like what happens to a dog when you put it through the radiation belt? It's like, oh, it fucks him up real
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting though that like all that experimentation is really just based around the idea of like, all right, so like when we get to the point that we can do deep space travel, we'll have all this information about its effects, and it's like, yeah, we're never gonna get there though.
You don't think so? Why do you think everything's gonna crash and burn before we get to that point?
It would just require such a technological and like world cultural leap. It would require a lot more unilateral like work from across the globe to make something like that happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'd say even to get to something like Mars, to be honest. Like
Hmm.
it's not feasible, especially for whatever reward you could hope to get out of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those things that, like, if we make it through a World War III and we have another kind of like peaceful period, it's like maybe humans will do it then if it doesn't totally destroy the planet at that point.
Eh. I just think it like there's such it's like do you know who Brian Scalabrine is? He's a
No.
former basketball player. He was like bench player for a lot of basketball teams, like, you know, fairly unremarkable NBA career, but was like on some decent teams. And it's like the statement that he says and like continually backs up in one-on-one plays that he's closer to LeBron than the average person is to him. And so it's like that, like going to the moon and going to any other near object is like that's not it's not like a, oh, we're halfway there leap. It's a
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we're like 5% of the way there.
Yeah, it's far. Yeah, I think the big thing with Mars too is getting through the radiation belt. We don't even know if it's like possible to survive it. You know, we'll see. I hope
So
we do it though, because like it is. That's one of the things where Elon Musk is right. Or that's why he's so big on like space exploration. Like if humans don't eventually set up like another colony off planet, eventually some comet is going to come, or there's going to be some disaster that wipes out people on Earth. It would be nice if we could pull it together enough where we hedge our bets. It's like we got the Earth humans, we get some people hanging out on the moon, we get some people on Mars, and then whenever you get some like doomsday thing, it's like humanity doesn't end totally.
I mean, with the effort it would take, you're really making an assumption there that we as a race deserve to survive such an event. Like everything dies. Humans won't be around forever. The sooner that we accept that, the better that we can make the now rather than, oh, but the future will be better. Like we have completely adapted Christianity into everyday dealings in that it's gonna suck now, but in the future it'll be worth it.
Mm.
No, it's horseshit.
I think it's
We don't
possible
deserve we
though.
don't deserve to live.
I I think
Yeah, but
we I think we
you
deserve what we get. If we can pull it together, where humanity can, survive, we deserve what we get.
Yeah, but here's the thing is like you don't believe in a world that we can like pull it together to make life for everyone here universally better, but you believe in a world where we can pull it together enough to travel to Mars and set up a colony there to survive a devastation event on Earth.
I think not we. maybe like 5 generations past we.
I don't think you're talking about humans. I think you're talking about like when cats finally kill us and take over the world. Like the cats will do it. Yeah, absolutely. The cats are going to fucking Venus once we're out
Nah,
of the way. Plus
cats
they're
don't get
smaller and
along.
lighter.
They don't get along with each other at all. Like, you ever have a cat and you try to introduce another
If,
cat into the household? Like, they do not
do
like
they
that.
figure it out? Do they figure it out?
Sometimes they just
Yeah,
end up one kills the other one. You know?
figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying with humans is like maybe we'll figure it out and that's kind of the two scenarios. Either we die off or we pull it together at some point to make that happen. You know.
Let me go over to FanDuel and get my money on die off. Wonder what the odds are right now. I bet they're pretty bad.
Well,
It's
that
like, but based on current events, no, die off is definitely gonna happen.
yeah, but that's one of those things where it's an easy bet because like if you can die anyway, it's like you don't need your money anymore. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's one of those things where it's like why everyone should like invest their money. Like you could invest your money in risky stuff because like people worry like, oh, if I put all my money in the stock market and it goes to zero, it's like if the stock market goes to zero, your money doesn't mean anything either. You know, you should have put it into gold and ammo and canned food. You know.
Well, I mean, you're kind of like apples to oranges there. It's not that people are afraid that the stock market is going to go to zero. It's that they're afraid that the stock they bought is going to go to zero, which does happen on a regular occurrence. So it's
Yeah.
not an unfounded fear. And to be clear, a lot of people are trying to invest money in groceries and gas.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
Those are where we're taking out mortgages right now.
Yeah. Did you hear they're trying to get through 50-year mortgages?
Yeah,
You hear about that? It's
yeah,
pretty crazy.
yeah,
I'd
yeah. We're
probably
gonna.
do it. If they lower
All
interest
right,
rates, I would do
fast track to serfdom, baby.
that.
Hail the king.
I mean,
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
yeah, it's one of those things like if you're smart about it, you can make it work in your favor. For like most people, like yeah, 50-year mortgage is a terrible idea, but if they lower
What's what's smart about it? You make $125,000 a year. Oh, you're smart about it.
No, I'm saying like if you there is ways you can make it work in your favor. Like
Like how?
if you get a low interest rate and like for a long time they had interest rates lower than inflation where it makes more sense to just borrow money because like you're borrowing $100,000 in 50 years that $100,000 with inflation is going to be nothing. If you can borrow with a lower interest rate than what inflation is, it makes sense to do that.
So your plan is the gang solves the gas crisis. I'm gonna borrow $100,000 and not use it and sit on it, and then in 50 years it'll be worth $125,000.
Well, I mean that is kind of like I don't remember that episode specifically, but that's kind of how finance works. It's like you take out money and like you know as long as you're beating inflation, like you can use that money for other stuff. It's very risky, but it's not inherently bad. There are some uses where you can make a 50-year mortgage work for you.
Yeah, I don't think that it works out for the average human. Like I said, I think if you
No,
can make
no.
it work if you don't need it. Just like the people who borrow money uh to have like borrow against like their life insurance, borrow against their stock options. They aren't doing that on 60K a year salaries. Like they don't need the fucking money that they're borrowing. It's all coming from a place of privilege
Yeah,
of
yeah.
stacks of cash anyways. So like fuck all. Like what's the point?
Yeah, people that can make a good use of it, or like are already financially savvy and probably have money in it for them. It's just kind of like another subprime thing. It's like before the 2008 crash, they kind of which I saw they're also doing. They're also like making it easier for people with bad credit scores to get mortgages. But it's kind of a similar thing where it's like most of the people taking out 50-year mortgages with bad credit scores probably shouldn't be doing that, and it's just going to end up foreclosed and the bank owning it.
Yeah, so tell me how the system works.
I
Worked for the
mean,
banks. They got more houses and more money. Like somebody put 15, 20 grand into a house that they don't own anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, eh, last time it happened, it worked for the banks because they got bailed out, but all the banks collapsed. You know, like, it didn't really work for the banks, except it did because then they just used a bunch of tax money to bail them out. You know.
Well, what is the bank? The bank is a name. Did it work out for the bankers?
Yeah,
Did they do well when the bonuses started getting handed out?
yeah, yeah. Well, they always do
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. So what is the bank? Right? Like, no, the brick and mortar didn't do well, but the people who were in charge who made all this possible did exceptionally well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, even some of the banks did too, like the physical banks. Some of them got bailed out, and then not long after that, they're back up, racking up billions of dollars.
It's amazing what you can do when your debts disappear and you get an influx of hundreds of millions of dollars. I could do a lot.
Yeah,
I could do a lot.
yeah. Well,
Probably wouldn't be wise.
yeah, I was
Like
gonna say
like
what.
if I won the lottery, it would be bad for a lot of people.
I don't know. I'd probably buy a bunch of gold with it. I got like
Yeah, yeah,
dragon hoarder brain. Like I'd buy like a
yeah.
piece of property and just like buy a bunch of gold and like bury it.
No, you're gonna buy money and wait for money to be worth more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because you're gonna live for 150 years.
Oh, I'm gonna live forever.
Yeah, until that comet comes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna buy a bunch of gold and property on Mars.
Enjoy that. I hear it gets a little chilly at night.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be one of the people to go to Mars, but the other people, you should do it. Go for it. It's a good
We should send I got a lot of people that we could send to Mars immediately.
idea.
Get to work. I mean, eventually, if there's enough organic matter there, something more like it might start forming some atmosphere and then, some life and shit, just start dumping bodies.
I think the Mars planet. I think underground, like subterranean. It'd be very fragile. I definitely wouldn't want to be one of the first people on Mars. Eventually it is possible if we ever pull together and get our shit together. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not totally hopeless, but I'm a little skeptical. If anyone does it, it's probably China. Like if in World War III, if China wins, there might be a chance that they like unify the world. We might go to Mars.
You know who it'll be. You're not going to see this coming until I explain it. The Irish. When things go to shit, who finds a way to get out of it and survive? The Irish are going to be on fucking Mercury, man, making it go of it, getting those fucking golden glowing potatoes going.
Maybe the Irish and the Chinese will team up. The Chinese
Nah.
people, they got more like just like cohesiveness just together in their own country. Like let alone like worlds, world powers getting along. It's like the U.S. It's like the people in the U.S. don't even get along. Like we're like the Civil War is like not out of the question, But like China, at least they get along with themselves for the most part.
I mean, it depends on what media you look at, but yes, the communist state of China has a very unified message.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, they got it under wraps for the most part.
No, yeah, they suppress all of the uprisings and all of the protests because they're a communist state.
Yeah,
They get to do that.
if you don't agree with them, then they teach you to agree with them.
Yeah, yeah.
They figure it out.
That's how they get along.
You,
Yeah,
you go to school
yeah.
again.
So
You get
again,
sent to
the
summer
cats,
camp.
the cats.
Yeah, they just send you away to camp until you have the right thoughts again. Until you stop
Yeah,
thinking wrong things.
Pooh Bear over there will just drown you in honey.
They're good at building shit, though. Put up a lot
Especially
of
walls.
especially walls. Yeah, I mean, yeah, even historically, I was talking about new stuff. Like, there's like a lot of like new dams, and they got a bunch of like mega projects and shit.
They also like have entire like cities that are one building that have just been like ad hoc onto each other for 30 years that are falling over.
Yeah.
I think it really depends.
Yeah,
I was reading about.
they get a little wild with the building because they have built like entire cities and then like demolished them later because like no one lives there, you know.
I saw a video about, and I was reading about this city, and I think it was Thailand, um, that was like built as specifically like a high-end Chinese like resort community, and then no one from China started going there, and so it's just like sitting empty, unused.
Hmm.
This like giant, massive city with skyscrapers and shit, and it's like if you want to go there, it's mostly deserted and it's pretty cheap to stay because
Hmm.
no one's got reservations.
Yeah, they built it for a demand that's not there. That's probably going to happen more and more. I mean, the world's becoming more hostile and just the population's dropping too everywhere. Population's decreasing. Like I think as much as I thought it would be cool to like buy like a hotel or like a restaurant or something, get into that, it's like it's not a good time to get into like any sort of like luxury business, you know.
Yeah, I lost a lot of interest when it started becoming more service based.
What do you mean?
Like when we were planning like the castle like resort thing, and it was like
Oh.
once I realized that it was going to be pretty much just like actual service, I was just like, that's work. Like
Yeah,
I want a place that I go to and get to play.
it'd be nice. It's always the money problem, though, you know.
Couple hundred mil, that's all it would take.
Yeah, yeah. How do you get to that point? I don't know. Maybe we'll find
We got to rip a
something.
bunch of people off.
Should we drop a meme coin? The
I mean,
loudest one wins coin. Do a pump and dump.
that's great. No, I don't even want to do the work.
I think it might be. That ship might have sailed. Have you seen what Bitcoin has been happening with?
Not really. Is it going down?
It crashed hard. It's
Yeah.
down below 80K now. You know, it's like earlier in the year it was over 120,000. Now I think like a year ago today Bitcoin was higher. It's a who knows? It's crashed before and recovered, but this might be the start of the end of the what do you
Well,
call it? I'm blacking out the pyramid scheme. You know?
it's crashed before and recovered, but like it's kind of done it in a natural like market way. And the difference I think between what's been happening, because like for a while in the last couple of years I was like kind of paying attention, but like there's just has been so much like Bitcoin was supposed to be like scam proof. And there's just like more and more like every day, like, oh, this one was a scam, this was a scam, this was a scam. And I think people are starting to realize that like kind of like we talked about before, like th- the the idea of it doesn't work as promised when it's used in like the applications and the like the browsers and stuff that we currently use it in because it's still bound by like those rules. Like in
Yeah,
order for it to be perfect, it needs that like like everything on the blockchain, and that's how it exists in a more, stable manner.
yeah. I
But
don't think
like
it's ever gonna. I think I've heard some people talk about it where they think it's probably gonna go down to like fair value, which is like in like the thousands, you know, and it's just gonna be like what people used before, which is like buying illegal shit on the internet, you know. That's really the only application of Bitcoin is to if you want untraceable money on the internet, because like if you're dealing with physical stuff, like just buy gold. There's gold and silver. Like people have been using that forever. You know that one's not gonna crash. It's yeah. Bitcoin just got silly because people are buying it for like an investment, but it's like it's not a company. You know, Bitcoin doesn't generate profit, and it doesn't really work as a currency either because it fluctuates. You know, no one wants
I
to.
mean, it's art as a currency or as a currency backer, and it's in that way its value is only what people are willing to pay for it.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. There's a lot more things you can put into your money. There's like tangible things you can put in your money that are like that, like art, you know, or gold, and you know, yeah. I think it's gonna crash. It's gonna go back down cheap. It probably won't totally die off because people still want to buy drugs and illegal guns and shit like that on the internet. But yeah,
Yeah, but it's not gonna be something you can like make money on. You'll probably actually be losing money because it's gonna like there'll have to be exchanges of cash to Bitcoin and shit, and so it's gonna be like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, drugs are gonna get more expensive. There's gonna be a higher exchange rate.
Yeah, it's gonna be low key again, and like everything that's not Bitcoin, like I don't even know how people got caught up in that stuff because like Bitcoin at least had a glimmer of hope where like maybe we will shift to a digital currency, then like Bitcoin will be the one. But if you're like people that are buying meme coins and stuff like that, I can't even begin to imagine what goes on in those people's brains, you know?
People buy stupid shit all the time, though.
Yeah, but usually, like when you buy stupid shit, at least you could like hold hold that shit in your hands. You know, it's like Bitcoin is kind of just like you're hitting numbers and like draining your bank account for like nothing. You know, so you don't even get like a tacky piece of shit to like look at. You know.
Yeah, I mean it's also it's the possibility of what it could be, and so it is in its way just gambling, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
no, it's
that's
gambling.
it's the same thing as fucking FanDuel and
Well,
shit. You're pumping your money in, buying this thing. You're buying a bet, and this bet is you got a great faith in this bet,
yeah. I
but
mean,
that bet has to hit.
it's a pyramid scheme. You know, it's really what it is. And I think a lot of like big institutions have been cashing out because that's why it pumped up so high. Is because like hedge funds and stuff like that started putting their money into Bitcoin, and of course they're the first ones to pull out, you know, and then the dummies are the ones getting left with it. But that's how it goes. And
That's good enough,
taxpayers,
my
you know,
nose.
because I think the U.S. has a strategic Bitcoin reserve now too. So that there goes our money. Could have been dollars, but oh well.
I mean, it's a drop in the bucket at this point.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and really, we live in the ultimate pyramid scheme where we have the Federal Reserve, which could just we can just make as much money as we want. You know, it's all kind of fake.
It's all a scheme to make the rich richer.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to. Yeah, I think for a while they were trying to like shift the U.S. because like the U.S. dollar's a little bit fucked with like how much debt we have. Like we reached an insurmountable amount of debt, and now other countries are dropping U.S. dollars. So I think they're trying to kind of figure out the next thing where they're just gonna be like, "Here's U.S. dollar 2.0. It's digital. You know, fuck all those pieces of paper you had. They're not worth anything now. You know."
I mean, it basically is right now, anyways, though. Like, how often do you buy something with cash?
Yeah, but they're gonna go off. I think they're gonna go off that entirely. You know, or they're just gonna let it go hyperinflation. You know, where that's not worth anything, and then you just start a new currency. And that's kind of like what like online
Cycle.
games, like you know, like the MMOs, like the like RPGs where people like RuneScape and shit like that in World of Warcraft. Like there's problems with those. Even those games, they have like economies where there's like inflation, and like because you get like money for like doing quests and shit, but eventually in like because there's an economy, like there's so much money pumped into the system that eventually they just have to like ditch an older currency and like just start a new one. That's what the U.S. is gonna do, you know?
That's what happens.
Yeah.
History repeats itself.
Yep. Yeah, it's happened many times. Yeah. That's why China and Russia are buying gold right now. So people see the writing on the wall.
They're just trying to make the gold gun from GoldenEye that kills guys with one shot.
That's the plan.
Yeah, just like a bunch of them.
That'd be pretty funny in actuality if it's like, you know, U.S. like the CIA is looking like, oh, China, Russia, they're buying a bunch of gold. They're trying to go back to a gold-backed currency, but then it's really like Vladimir and like Xi Jinping. They're just like building like a big statue or something like that, you know, just really something
Now,
stupid.
now I was imagining it's GoldenEye, and it's like stupid Russian scientists where they're like, "Look, comrade, look at new American weapon," and they're playing fucking GoldenEye. They're like, "It is one shot kill every time. We need to
Yeah,
copy this technology."
yeah, right.
It's like, you know, that game's from the 90s. Shut up.
Yeah, it just made its way over to Russia.
Yeah, right. It's brand new. We just got Walkman yesterday.
What are
Yeah.
some of these stuff you got on here? Tell me about this hidden city.
So in South America, uh, they found using LiDAR, which I love that. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to be pronounced LiDAR or lidar or something like that,
It's
but like
lidar.
calling something LiDAR, like that's just like, hey, we use this fancy new technology to see stuff under the ground. It's called LiDAR. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
all right,
sure.
it's there. Yep. Okay, with your LiDAR. God fucking damn it. This has come up a couple times, and every time it's just like LiDAR, man. It's hard for me to say that with a straight face and then be like, yeah, I believe the thing I'm about to say.
That's
Uh,
funny.
but like the remnants of what you'd consider a city with like walls and structure and shit like that. Um, and it's bigger than any they'd seen before. I looked it up, and it's actually because it's a bunch of different sections. It's very much like a, as you imagine, like a metro type thing, where it's not, it wasn't all built at once. It's not all just like
Mhm.
one massive sprawl. It's section at a time. Ended up being over 600 square miles,
Mhm.
which I'm sure it's not just like a square like that, right? It probably
Yeah, it's a
stretches and
big
ambles
sprawled
in
out
different ways.
city. Yeah.
Right, but that's still like that's pretty freaking huge for what we consider civilization to be 2,500 years ago, especially in the Central Americas, Central South Americas. So
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
It's funny. I saw something on that. I forgot. There was some documentary I was watching where it was talking about like the first, explorers that went through like the Amazon, and like I forgot, it was either the Spanish or the Portuguese. Like there was the first guy that like took and went, and boated through the Amazon River, and he came back and he talked about like I think that's whatever that Disney movie was, but like the City of Gold or whatever.
Yeah, El Dorado.
Yeah, El
Yeah,
Dorado, and like he was telling these stories, like yeah, they've got these massive cities all along the river and stuff, and then it was a while before the second guy, they sent another trip, and when the second person came through, it was just like overgrown jungle. They're like, this first guy's full of shit. There's nothing here, but now it's like they're finding these things, and they think it was probably like the first guy went through and got everyone sick. And disease like
right.
wiped out the entire civilization so fast that by the time the second person even got through there, everything was gone and it was all overgrown because like it doesn't take a lot for a jungle to just completely overtake
Yeah.
things.
It's grown year round,
Hmm.
day and night. Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's, I mean, there's been different interpretations as far as like how that wasn't his messages were interpreted as far as, was it like as big, or was he embellishing to
Right.
try to like raise a charter for another,
Exactly.
adventure and
Yeah.
shit. Um, I think with anything, like most of that shit in history, because history is written in retrospect, history is written by the survivors, the victors, and shit like that. It's probably closer to 50-50, right?
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
there
For
probably
sure he is
wasn't,
exaggerating.
right. Yeah, like I doubt that there was any like grand, or kind of like Atlantean type like civilization, but it is
Yeah.
probably likely that there was better ones. And then like, yeah, it doesn't take a lot, as we've seen from history, for people to spread disease and wipe out
Yeah.
civilization. It's the main reason that the government actually backs the ban on travel to North Sentinel Island. It's just that like
Oh
pretty
yeah,
much
they'd get
they've
wiped
been
out. Yeah.
isolated so long that like any contact with them would essentially doom everyone.
Yeah, and for sure, it's probably something in the middle because like the dude was definitely exaggerating too. Like, can you blame him? Like, if I spent like years of my life sailing into the unknown in the ocean and going this unknown river, I wouldn't be like, yeah, there's some people there. It was chill though. It's like it wasn't that cool. It's like no, you're gonna hype it up a little bit. It's
Right.
like
Plus, I mean, like, was he doing some ayahuasca? Maybe he really did see a giant golden civilization, and then
yeah,
he woke
right,
up and had a really hard time finding it again.
yeah, yeah. It's
He
interesting
was
though.
doing that Aaron Rodgers shit.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, wait, what was Aaron Rodgers do?
He did ayahuasca and like was a totally changed person by it, dude. And his
Hmm.
his dark uh retreat and shit. He's a prick. But anyway. So, yeah.
That's
I
funny
mean,
though.
geez though, but like 600 square miles, yeah, you don't think of anything that big. I mean, I know that there were some other, big cultures, but that, I mean, 2,500 years ago, we're talking, before Julius Caesar on the other side of the pond,
Right, right.
so,
Yeah, it's pretty
um,
significant as far as like, because when the Romans were around, like there wasn't really anyone even close to doing what they were doing. Like even the golden
right,
eras of like China and stuff were after that. You know, the Romans were really and the Greeks were really doing shit before everyone else. You know.
right. And I get that, like, the Eastern Hemisphere civilizations were definitely more technological advanced, but I think we're finding out more and more every day how both sides of the ocean advance culturally about at a fairly equal pace.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting one. I just thought of. I didn't write it in the notes. I saw this thing. It was a study where they found that. So it's like there's a maternal haplogroup that they found. Do you know what haplogroups are?
No.
So it's basically like you can either trace it like maternally or paternally, but it's like basically you can like trace your origin through like eventually there's like the what they call it the something Eve where you can like trace your lineage. And they found there's a haplogroup in like Native Americans that exists in like Native Americans and Europeans, but not in Asia. So it kind of is like blowing holes in that theory of that like people went, Africa up through Europe, through Asia, across the Bering, not the Bering Sea, but the ice bridge or whatever.
Yeah, it's the
Um,
Bering Sea.
the Bering Sea, okay,
Yeah.
Bering ice bridge, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're finding there's a haplogroup that's in Europe, in America, but not in Asia. So it's kind of thrown in that like maybe the Vikings had a bigger impact than they thought there, whether it's them or someone else. It seems that there's evidence pointing to that people may have come across the Atlantic first, too.
Maybe they're just traveling across Asia and they're like, you know what? Let's take some celibate time, and we're just gonna get to where we're going as quick as we can, and then we'll throw down, and then it's all hands on, right at that point, because it's been a while. With shower, we need to clean up first. We've been on a
uh,
long walk, but no honey potting.
yeah, that'd be funny. But it wouldn't
Well,
surprise me that, like, I don't see why it's so unrealistic that people would have crossed the Atlantic first. Because, like, there was a lot of people that were just going out in boats, seeing what happens. And if, like, for a long time, if they made it across the Atlantic, like, you weren't seeing those motherfuckers ever again. They're not coming back. So I
mhm.
think it could have just been like there's always been crazy people who are like, and it's like I know that ocean's not endless. There's gonna be something. We're gonna sail until we hit something. Because there's also like
Yeah,
the Faroe Islands, um, pretty far out. That they have Faroe Islands have some weird megalithic structures too. That was like officially found by the Portuguese, but there's some old stone structures on the Faroe Islands that are probably way older than people think. No, that's pretty far out in the Atlantic, so that could have been like a hub.
I mean, humans are animals, and I mean, kind of in that shared trait, I'm just naturally curious about their environment, and how far their territory can be, and grass is always greener, right? Like there's
Hmm.
an opportunity that there's something more bountiful if
Yeah,
you take this little step off the ledge.
yeah. I guess space is that now, but I don't know. The space part doesn't attract me because like if I lived like 2,000 years ago, I would be one of those people that goes off in a boat. Like I'd be like, I'm finding something.
I mean, I wouldn't be in a boat, but like I'd strap the pack and start walking. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, no, it does kind of suck that there's nowhere left on this earth to discover.
yeah, it sucks. Yeah, I guess there's like Antarctica. I guess we can hope for that. It's a one plus side of global warming. It's like
Yeah, but it's not the same though, right? Like when
yeah,
things were discovered, it's like civilization, right? When it's like dark and then the light comes on. It's like your world literally grew.
hmm
And that's conceptually, philosophically, that's such an amazing idea that like you can your literal concept of your world, right? Like we think of like our community, the space that we travel regularly, and like we kind of like throw a veil around everything else when we're not needing to go outside of that.
hmm
But like there was a time when there literally was nothing outside that fucking veil. And
yeah,
to be able to do that, to pull the curtains back on something that you didn't even know was there
yeah. Just a
is,
mystery. Yeah,
yeah, it's unfathomable. Like can't imagine what that was like. Yeah, like literally just like cresting a hill and seeing a new mountain range that you never saw in your life, and being like,
hmm
"Fuck, that's a beautiful fucking mountain range that I never knew was here."
yeah. It sucks we miss out on that because there's like new mysteries in space and stuff like that too. But even that, we have telescopes. Like we know what's out there. It's like,
Well,
oh,
I just
Mars. It's
like,
like, ooh, it's a bunch of fucking red rocks.
I mean, you discover a new tropical island, you feel the sand beneath your toes, you crack a coconut and drink the juice. Like we discover a new planet through a telescope. Like that's cool. Way
Yeah.
out there. It's got some pretty colors on it. Maybe something of that is neat.
Yeah, but it's like I think part of it is like it's like it's not habitable. You can't really go there. But yeah,
Even
yeah,
if it is, it's not possible to get there.
yeah, yeah. For sure, if I lived back like 2,000 years ago, I'd be a pirate for sure.
That's not, I mean, as a pirate, you don't really explore that much, though. You're basically just hanging out in shipping lanes.
Yeah, no, but because they would have like hideouts and stuff. They'd find some weird off little island where they can stash their gold and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you're not exploring because
Nah,
you gotta be where other boats are.
nah, that's true. That's true.
The exploring is you want to go where there's not other boats. I mean,
Well,
it was the scientific expeditions they used to send out.
I guess it
Literally the spaceships to islands.
not necessarily because like think of like the Vikings. They were doing that, but like when they found an island where there's people that had stuff, they were. It's like you shift gears. It's like first we start off as a research vessel until we find something that we want, and then we're pirates.
Well, to be clear, you said pirate, not Viking.
It's
Those
kind
are
of the
two different
same.
occupations. It's not the same.
It's okay. Break
They have
down the
different
different.
styles.
Okay, let's hear this.
Like pirate is literally like privateer. Like I kill you, I take your stuff, I sell, I go back to like, my ship, my thing. Vikings are just like, this is mine now. Like, we're either gonna set up shop or like we're gonna be back next week.
Right. Okay. I guess I changed my answer. I would be a Viking.
If we let you.
Hey, my people came from the Vikings too. I looked at my DNA thing, and I'm mostly from the British Isles. I'm a big mix of stuff though.
Not surprising.
What, the British Isles part or the?
Yeah, the Americans are from the British Isles.
Hmm.
I said the Americans are from the British Isles. Super surprising.
What do you mean? Oh, like my American
Yeah.
ancestors. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good mix of them though. I got a
Speak.
little hedge of each of them: England, Scotland, and Irish.
Yeah, me too. Got a little French, a little German as well. So speaking of the British Isles, I also thought it was interesting that there was a uh, like a Celtic uh, kind of like site found in the Czech Republic.
Hmm.
They found a bunch of treasure there. It dates back over 2,200 years, but what they found was really interesting is it really seemed like a place of like kind of like industry and occupation that like it wasn't just like a camp or something. Like they were ingrained in the community there.
Hmm.
At that point, it was on what was called the Amber route. So apparently, there were a bunch of chicks named Amber out there. Um, but the other cool thing is that like the facility that they found that they're attributing to the Celts, it wasn't destroyed. It just kind of like decayed naturally, showing that like, you know, they kind of just like would have dwindled out and
Hmm.
gone to disrepair, but it wasn't ever like attacked and destroyed,
Right.
which
It's
is
probably
not
like
common. It's like, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's like an old mining town, like ghost towns you see in like the out west. There's probably something that brought people there, and like either they closed up shop in a mine or something like that.
Yeah. It reminds me, it's kind of like Russia, how like it was like the 60s before they had a leader that wasn't taken out of power by death,
Hmm.
right? Like, no, it's not often that you find historic sites, especially ones where there was something of value going on,
Hmm.
and they aren't destroyed.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
like so they kind of you're like, oh, you got stuff? Let me come take that stuff.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I was reading. It's probably part of like the Bell Beaker era. I know it's like that's archaeologists or maybe anthropologists. That's probably the right word. Talking about that society of like there was some point in like Europe where they like really got really good at making vases, and they were making like these specific type of like vases that they were mass producing and trading everywhere.
Could you imagine like it's like when I like felt like I officially got old, right? And at our the old house that I lived at in Redford, they shipped out everyone new garbage cans. And I was like, oh dude, this one's got wheels, it's nice, it's brand this is awesome. It's like, could you imagine being at a point and like we're like, oh, look at this vase.
Yeah,
Oh my, wow.
that was like the iPhone, like when people figured out pottery and they just started making them. It was like,
It was like it was when they figured out like the shoulder thing. It was like, whoa,
yeah,
it's got curves like a woman. I'll take 10.
yeah, it was definitely like the hot thing where people were like giving up their whole like life fortunes. Like I traded all my axes for one of them.
I gave him my son.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's definitely people trading, family members and trading slaves for vases and shit like that.
And you got that pottery maker going home like, well, hon, remember when you said that stupid vase wasn't gonna sell? We got a new son.
Yeah.
A bunch of axes.
It's funny. And I think that those people got taken over by the Yamnaya. Do you ever go down that history rabbit hole of the Yamnaya people?
No, not the Yamnayas.
They're kind of like the ones.
Yamnoa.
They're that's like the civilization that kind of like the like Indo-European language came from. So it's like they're like steppe people. So they're probably like around Ukraine. They're the first people that figured out horses, and then like of course they figured out horses and chariots and like just took over everything. So they spread through the steppe, like all through Europe, through India. And that's like all through like that whole continent and the Indian subcontinent. Like all our languages kind of stem from the same place. It was these people, and it was
And it was
interesting.
just like a group of people with like broken marriages.
Broken marriages, like what do you mean?
You said they were step people, so they're like step moms, stepdads, stepsons, stepdaughters.
Yeah, yeah. The interesting thing with them though is like it wasn't like a warfare thing. It's like they really just kind of took over by trade. It's like they figured out horses and chariots. I'm sure they're probably fucking some people up though too. But it wasn't like that wasn't like the main thing. It's like they kind of just like took over because like they had like written language, they had horses, they had like trade routes. So it's like their culture just kind of absorbed because it wasn't even that like Genghis Khan where it's like he left his genetic footprint on everyone. It's like they didn't do that as much, but they did like everyone's language changed to them. They adopted the same religions. That's why when you look at like the Celts and like the Nordic people and even like Indian people, it's like all the gods are kind of the same thing. It's like it's all the same pantheon of gods that we're just playing the telephone game with. Their names just change over time.
I mean, that's like almost all religion. Like almost every single religion has like an equatable thing until you get to like some of the more like far-reaching, segregated ones that like kind of, had to do their own thing. But like,
Yeah, yeah.
there's a lot of equatables through a lot of religions.
Because like even like the Old Testament is like very clearly borrowed from other places. It's like the same stories that were in Sumerian ones, and
Well, the original creation myth, if you go back to like older versions of the Bibles, God creates the earth in the presence of other like beings. And it's
mm,
like, the like God created it and he thought it was good. The original translation was like God created it and they thought it was good.
yeah, yeah. It's funny. It starts off like polytheistic and then slowly changes over time.
Yeah, like actually, if we kind of come around to this idea of like a father, like one dude who's in charge of everything, and then we could kind of funnel everything into him, we can make a lot more money.
Yeah, it like started off like with everyone, like even like the Greeks. It was like our god's the best god, and if we beat you in war, that proves that our god is better than your god. And like it started off that way, and eventually they were like, no, our god is the only god. They kind of switched the script. Apparently, it works.
No.
That's the one that's spread around. But
Did you ever watch oh fuck, what's her name? Philomena Crunk?
mm-mm.
You ever watch that? It's like a British like documentary show where she like presents absurd things. But there's one episode where she's talking about Christianity and she's like, Christianity is a religion based on loving and forgiveness, a message that its believers felt so strongly about they're willing to kill anyone who opposed them.
Yeah. It's funny how it started off. I was watching a thing like there's a lot of people that think like a lot of the supernatural stuff about Jesus was kind of just like tacked on there because like this is like even like two of the gospels like Jesus isn't really portrayed as like some supernatural thing. Like a lot of people think he was just like a rabbi back then, and they were saying like Christianity took off so much because Jesus was like we're Jewish, but you don't got to be so crazy about it. It's like you can eat pork. You don't have to be so crazy about the Sabbath. So it was just like they took this thing and they just made it like a little bit more accessible. So everyone was just kind of like, yeah, I like this guy. It's like I don't like all the rules parts on it. He's easing up on the rules.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Christianity was basically always just a new scam. It was a new way of controlling people.
Yeah, I mean it was like a cult. I mean all
Yeah.
religions. It's all just cults.
Yeah. So,
Seems just how humans' brains are wired. I don't think there's ever been a civilization that didn't have some form of religion.
well, speaking of beliefs, let's keep it on that side of the ocean. Um, and let's talk about dark beliefs. Let's talk about curses. So,
Curses. Okay, what do you
yeah,
got?
yeah, like some good old fashioned Roman voodoo.
Uh huh.
So they apparently were digging out a shitter, or I'm sorry, a bathhouse, and they found some tablets that had handwritten notes on them. And when they did some translations, they found out that some of these were some curses that people bestowed upon thieves, cheating lovers, rivals, people
Mm-hmm.
that they wanted to do no well against. And I actually I asked for some examples, and this is some great stuff. So there was some slang, right? So let's learn. We're gonna learn. This is learning time. We're gonna learn some ancient Roman slang.
Mm-hmm.
So furcifer. If you were
Lucifer.
to call someone a furcifer, you would be calling them the fork bearer,
Fork
or
bearer.
also a scoundrel or a dirt. Because fork bearer I automatically associate with like a shithead, but like scoundrel. So that's a furcifer.
Wait, fork bearer. I wonder where that. Do you think it's because like they were picking up trash like a pitchfork? Like if you're the trash guy, you got a
I
pitchfork.
think I think it's probably that like at that point the lowest totem you could be on the pole was like the dude who had to feed imbeciles. And so that was like you had to like the fork and then
You're
put it,
thinking like a cutlery fork. Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
I was thinking because it
So
says meaning scoundrel, dirtbag, or piece of trash. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. 'Cause in my thought, it'd be like making fun of you is like this guy's he's only a janitor or something. Like he's the guy, like the guy, like he's got the pitchfork and he's picking up trash off the ground. You know.
Look at him, Percifer.
Yeah. That's my thought with it, but who knows?
Another one is Kakator, which, isn't surprising. Kaka,
Yeah,
shitter.
shitter.
Not
Yes.
not the shitter, but like, I guess you're a shitter.
Yeah.
I, I don't know. Like, this is apparently, how, like, young kids, like my daughter, she's 8, she can't fucking curse to save her life. Like,
Mhm.
it's embarrassing sometimes to hear her curse. Like,
Mhm.
don't do it. You're just bad at it.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, this is the infancy of cursing still. We're hammering home some of the basics, and then
Yeah.
we'll kind of get the nuance to it later, Shitter, Kakator.
I kind of like Furcifer though. That's a good one. Like, look at this
Are
low
you gonna start
class.
incorporating
Look at
that?
this fork bearer.
You're gonna start calling people fork bearers in New York. Well, this is fun for our last podcast before you got shot. And then last, Nebulo, which is a worthless person, like calling someone a bum,
I kind of like that. Like
which is
Nebulo. Kind of reminds
it's kind of, well,
like
it's weird. Like,
nebulous. It just means like
yeah,
you're nothing. You know.
I guess. No, that was our Roman slang lesson, and so now some actual curses. The the curses I was expecting, like I grew up on the Mummy, right? And a
Mhm.
curse. Who should 1,000 deaths be bestowed upon whoever opens this chest and their entrails dragged across the Saharan desert for all eternity? Like, that's a curse. No, apparently, whoever took my cloak, whether man or woman, may their hands be twisted and their eyes fail until the cloak is returned. I mean, these are just fucking tweets.
Yeah, like
Like,
it's like less curses, more just like shit
fuck you.
talking. Like I like when
Yeah.
I imagine it, I'm thinking of like because people probably haven't changed that much. I'm thinking of like a Brooklyn Italian guy is like that motherfucker who stole my car. You know.
Right, like curse against a cheating lover. May her sleep flee, may her food turn to ash, may she find no peace with the man she runs to. And it must have been that the bitch was crossed out at the end. Against rival at games. Bind the legs and the arms of Sextus. May he stumble, may he lose the race. Like, you can't even make it rhyme, bro. You're writing in like half fucking, meter there. Bring it around.
Yeah, it could have been better.
And then finally, uh, some smack talk. Gaius is a drink sponge and a liar. May his tongue swell until he speaks truth.
These okay, so now I'm getting what these are. So this was in a bathhouse. These are not curses. This is like just the Roman
This is-
version of like writing shit in the public toilet. You know.
But these are on tablets, so apparently it was like, every bathhouse just had like a stack. They're like, listen, we don't have markers. We cannot do anything about engravings. So here's the tablets.
Yeah, just
Write
don't
your
put it in the
shit on
wall.
there. Don't fucking carve the walls.
Yeah.
Swear to God.
That's funny.
There's a shelf there. Put your plaque up on the shelf. Your curse is good. No, yeah, this is like curse is a strong word.
Yeah. Less curse, more just like shit talking.
Yeah.
Which is like I kind of like that about like the Romans and the Greeks, where they had their whole mythology and stuff, but I question how much they believed it. It's like the people that were really controlling Rome. It's like they were more interested in like building shit and stuff like that. It seems like a lot of the pantheon and the gods was more of just like culture stuff, you know.
I think of that era more and more now than I used to, of like being a time when I think the most plentiful resource was pettiness. It was like the first time, and it was like fucking like standing and like fucking someone over like was really starting to like benefit, more people and shit. Like, you could actually like kind of move around and everything if you like sold somebody out.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, yeah, like this shit just fits with that, where it's just like, fuck you. You didn't like my shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like fucking 300 years ago, we were still fighting lions out in the wheat field.
Yeah, it was really like the first culture that hit that point where like you could have that kind of society because like at the same time like the Celts and the Gauls, it's like they were still in a tribe where it's like they're just going out and pillaging and shit. There's no like that petty stuff because it's like people are just fighting, you know.
Yeah, and in Egypt was like the original pyramid scheme. One guy at the top.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to
I want
laugh
that
at
one cut. I want that one cut on Opus. I better see that one. There was one earlier too that I wanted to call out, but I want to call out that one. I better see that one on Opus. uh, Kind of speaking of ancient tombs and stuff, we're going to hop back across. Oh no, we're going to Persia. That's right, Persia. And so they found um, in tombs in Persia that they actually carved out tubes that would alter your voice during rituals to kind of like you could like change the projection that I don't think that sort of science is new to us, but it's kind of interesting that they were
mm-hmm.
thinking of that, doing that. They said it was used to simulate the gods. I'm sure that there's some thought that it was like used as a way to communicate with the gods, but I don't see any way of not supposing that it's some like Wizard of Oz sort of thing, like
Yeah,
bow down to me, leave your gold.
yeah. I feel like that's what a lot of ancient religions were just like kind of hacky magic tricks, but they didn't have the internet, so they didn't know about them. So it's like
Yeah.
you're kind of just doing like corny magic tricks to like convince people that you have powers.
I mean, the most famous story in the history of the Americas is Christopher Columbus being able to line up a fucking eclipse. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
like that's how we have, the story of colonization of America is because he knew astrology.
yeah. And like even like think of like kings back then. It's like they convinced a bunch of peasants that they had like a royal bloodline, or that they were like decided it's like, oh, God said I'm king, you gotta give me all your shit. It's like it's really just about like how well you can trick other people.
Some taught distributing swords at a pond is no basis for government.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no. And I mean, clearly we haven't gotten our shit together.
Yeah,
Fucking
it's funny.
20,000 years cultural evolution and we got nothing.
Yeah, it's just baked. I think it's baked into our brains, because like you can create a whole system of democracy and stuff, but like people don't really want it. I think it happened to the Greeks and the Romans, where it's like it all devolved. Eventually, they're like, "Nah, we want." It's like the big monkey lead tribe.
Yeah. Always comes around.
Yeah, it is kind of funny how that happened. It kind of shows you a point where the U.S. is going. That the Romans, they gave up on democracy.
I mean, the Roman, though, like, kind of comparable to what we're dealing with American and what British went through is like they kind of just like expanded too far.
Yeah,
And so like, the Roman decline is really just like that level of control being unsustainable. It's not like Rome like fell or the everyone in the territory that ended up being the Roman territory at the end was like, impoverished and starving. It just like wasn't at its glory days.
yeah, yeah. Well,
The
and
imperialism had
even before
passed.
that, then they gave up on the democracy part. They would switch to dictators, or whatever
Well,
they call them.
yeah. No, I mean, it was all over the place. It was basically just like whoever could either get a military backing or you know get somebody to write up some shit about them being some long lost relative that like it was all the politics game, right? It was either they were going to take the throne by force and install a dictatorship, or they were going to like patent up some documents. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and
it was
I
always
mean,
some asshole.
it happens pretty frequently in modern countries too, where it's like you can have a democracy and it can be nice until some generals like, but actually, all the guys with the guns listen to me. So who's really in charge? Like it
Yeah.
doesn't take a lot to flip that switch.
Yeah, it's like, did you hear about the riots in fuck, Kathmandu? And like, I can't remember the country. Not that long ago.
I think was it Malaysia. I know what you're talking about though. Yeah, they had like a
But
whole
it was
insurrection.
it was like
It was like Gen Z. It was like young people overthrew the government.
yeah, they were using uh what's that one
Was that
application?
Discord?
Yeah, Discord. They were using Discord to organize their protest, but they like I think they burned down the prime minister's house. Like I
Hmm.
know some people were killed. Like it was but it was I mean it was over some, intense sort of nepotism issues.
Yeah, it was just inequality. It's funny though because
Yeah.
I read a New York Times article on it, and they're interviewing people afterwards, and then like a lot of people were like, and it reminds me of like the January 6th thing. A lot of people were like, okay, we got out the prime minister, we took over the capital. It's like, what the fuck do we do now? Like a lot of these things. It's like people want change, but they don't have answers. It's because then like they installed like someone else, but then right away that person surrounding himself with bodyguards, and like it just turns into another power struggle. It's the same thing with the Soviet Union. You throw over someplace and then you're the new one in power, and then someone else is trying to overthrow you. Like there's never stability with those things.
I mean, what it always ends up being, though, is like if you look at it, it comes from a point of you essentially have whatever power be, like whatever group is in power, who is unwilling to negotiate, who is unwilling to listen and will only speak. And so you have this other group who then like feels the need to take power. And once they've disposed of that and removed that barrier, what actually needs to happen is now the conversation needs to happen. But the problem is that people are looking for answers already at that point, and anything other than answers is perceived as weakness. And so, like like you said, you have to rush into it. You have to pick the new guy.
Hmm.
You're never gonna pick the right fucking guy because you don't know what you need, because you haven't had the conversation that you haven't been able to have, that you just opened up, but now you have to close the door because you're worried that your ability to have that conversation is going to be taken away again.
Yeah.
But that's always the thing, is like it's it always ends up coming from a place of like one group not being heard, and then they get to that point where it's like, okay, like we're going to be heard, but now we're not going to listen.
Hmm. Yeah, I think part of it is just that humans naturally gravitate towards like a strong man. I think we come from monkeys. There's always like a tribe, and someone's the leader. Because like even that's the funny thing is it happens in communist countries. It's like they end up having a dictator anyway. They end up having someone in charge, and like it defeats the whole purpose of it. It's like you can set up something where everyone can have an equal voice, but then most people don't even want that.
Well, it's kind of like the point of Christianity, right? Like, why is Christianity so popular? Because Jesus saves, because Jesus takes away all of your sins, because Jesus promises you eternal life, because Jesus is a hero. Jesus is Superman.
Hmm.
And you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to take responsibility for anything. You don't have to work for anything. You don't have to deal with any consequences because you got Jesus, the superhero, on your side.
Yeah.
People love a superhero. People love not having to take accountability for themselves.
Yeah, it's just a thing, and I've been idealistic in the past because even like with worker cooperatives, like how many people want to be on the the board of directors of the worker cooperative? No one,
Yeah.
no one wants to do it.
Well,
It's
to like reference a movie, it's like Gladiator, right? It's like, who's the people who should have power? It's the people who don't want power.
yeah.
Like objectively, those are the people who should be in power making decisions for other people. It's the people who don't want to be there, who
Hmm.
don't feel that they should have that power, because they're the ones that won't abuse it. They're the ones that treat the power as a delicate eggshell and not as a gun.
Yeah, yeah. it's tough. I think we're at the point. I think the real problem is we're at the point in like humanity where like our societies are more complex than what like our like physical bodies were made for. You know, we still live in monkey bodies that are tribal, and we're trying to make societal structures that go past that. But you know, we still got monkey brains.
Yeah. I think it's just a bunch of systems set up on different fail safes to just keep money funneling towards certain groups.
Oh yeah, of course, but I think it just seems like it ends up that way no matter what. You know, I don't know.
Just need a hero.
Yeah, just need the next hero. Need the new Jesus.
Hero. Modern Jesus.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we're past the point where another religion like that can take off. You know.
Could you imagine the welcome that Jesus would have if he came back today?
I don't. It's like, how would you ever know? Because like working with people with schizophrenia, I know multiple people who think they're Jesus. It's like, which
Yeah,
one do you pick? You know.
yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of people that think they're Jesus. You know.
And what if the shit wasn't all exaggeration and he could start performing miracles? Fucking burn him at the stake.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to say. You know, that's the tough thing about like religion is like how to, I don't get how people can be so sure in their like their faith when it's like which one do you pick? Everyone says different shit. Like how do you pick which one's right? You know?
It's like how you pick anything else, but the thing with religion is that like picking one and believing in it 100% allows you to like dispel all notions of like fear and uncertainty, right? It's all your eggs in one basket.
It's kind of like the next step of like siding with the strong man of like you know getting rid of democracy. Like I'm backing the dictator, but like in your whole existential existence, you know. Got another eggshell on that.
Yeah.
See, what is this new? You found a new fungus that eats polyurethane.
Yeah, so it's not new in the fact that, or in the idea that we haven't discovered it before, but they've been doing testing at low temperatures to see if there's, different things that'll break down polyurethane, like styrofoam. Um, and they discovered that this fungus that they were aware of before, but at low temperatures will do that. Um, I mean, it's kind of interesting in the fact that like, oh, it's cool, it works. They've known for like 4 or 5 years that mealworms do essentially the same thing.
Yeah,
Like I said, that like could be huge for the future of waste cleanup, but until there's a way to become profitable from doing
I was
it,
just about to say
it's
the
not
same
going to happen.
thing. Yeah, it's like,
Like that's like yes, it's very cool, and I would love to know that it's happening, but it's not going to happen because at this point, it's the type of thing that would
yeah,
cost somebody money.
it doesn't make any money. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, because it's like, oh, that's cool. It's a lot cheaper to just throw it all in a hole, you know,
Yeah,
to bury it or
it's like
burn it.
it's like the plastic in the ocean. Like there's been so many solutions created to clean it up, and it is absolutely 100% possible to clean it up, but nobody's going to do it because it costs money.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the whole thing with climate change, where it's like that's the thing I had down here that they're doing a climate conference in Brazil, but it's becoming more and more that I think countries are just not even going to think about it. And it's really just because you can't make money and the world is competitive. You know, it's like we live in a game of like civilization or in a game of risk where it's like if we spend too much of our time focusing on like cleaning up plastic and decarbonizing, then Russia's gonna advance faster than us and they're gonna win. And the world's going further in that area, unfortunately.
I don't even think it's that insidious. I think it's just that like literally it's been like 10 years of restrictions on industry and business to try to cap this, and they're realizing that like they are losing out on profits.
Yeah,
However minuscule that's money that they could be putting in their pockets.
There's definitely some people that think that way, but it seems like more and more people are changing on it, where it seems like it's like a losing battle. Because the thing is, like, I saw so it was Australia's like Conservative Party just totally axed like their thing was like we're not shooting for any climate goals, but even like their Liberal Party also has been like, we're like, okay, we're gonna chill out on this, you know. And it's like I kind of look at Australia as they seem at least like a more progressive place than the U.S., but it seems like that's the way it's going, you know.
I don't think there's any. I think I think there's pretty consistent ratios across the world because I know that Australia has plenty of backwardsness to it.
Yeah, for sure. And part of it's like, you know, I'm pretty apolitical at this point just because I did. Both sides of the aisle have things that are just annoying and stupid, you know.
It's different backers. It's
Yeah,
who's sponsoring your government this round.
yeah, it's all ridiculous.
There's no at least in this democracy, there's no democratic representation anymore.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to the strong man. It'll be interesting.
Not really. It'll be hell.
Yeah, I don't know.
You live, and you die.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting future though. 'Cause I think I'm calling it now. We're going over. We're taking over South America. It's going to be that part. Have you been seeing like the stuff with like the tensions with Venezuela? Have you been keeping up with that?
I avoid all politics. It just doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. Well, that one's interesting just because it seems like we're in a new era of war. You know, where Venezuela, it definitely seems like they're on the chopping block. Like I think we're going there. We're going to take that oil over there. But even Mexico, have you heard about the crazy protests they've been having there?
I avoid all politics. It just doesn't matter.
Well, it's interesting because like Mexico just had some like real crazy protests where they're like storming the prime minister. No, it's the president in Mexico, the presidential palace or whatever. They're trying to overthrow, and it's like pro-Trump Mexicans. Like it's like Mexicans holding up signs saying like Trump, you know, help us fight the drug cartels. And the first thing in my mind is like there's definitely some like CIA plants there to try to get people to like say like save us from the drug cartels to give us like a reason to go invade Mexico. Like that's where my brain goes. I think there's probably some Mexicans that are just tired of living in a narco state too. I could totally get that, but I think the CIA has probably got their grimy fingers in there. Like, you guys need help printing signs, you know?
Need rides?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I think the best plan would just be for everyone to be shot, but like 100 people. I mean, the Thanos thing, right? We just need we need a good plague.
A good play. Well, for everyone or for politicians? Who are you talking about here?
Hey, if we could isolate, now we're talking.
I have a feeling I bet that shit like that happens, you know. I think that there was a lot of people, like, not even in our country, but in China and other places, that were pretty happy when COVID came around, where it's like, oh, it's killing the old people. It's like, that's going to cut the Social Security budget quite a bit, you know? Like,
Yeah, but how did it not kill any of the old duffs in fucking Congress and House of Representatives and shit? Like, how did all those fuckers survive?
yeah, because they got good health care.
Yeah.
That kind of makes it more suspicious, though, you know?
Politicians and diapers changed often for the same reason.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I don't have a lot of hope for politics in the U.S., but it is interesting, at least. We live in interesting times.
If you say so. I find no interest in it.
No,
No.
not in the politics, but at least in the times of the world that we're in, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but like everything I brought up for us to talk about tonight was from like 2,000 years ago.
No, I'm with you there too. Like I would much rather live 2,000 years ago be on a ship exploring and shit like that. Have a pouch full of gold coins, playing a lute, you know.
Yeah. You're just wandering around, killing different animals for dinner,
Yeah,
harvesting different berries.
it would be cool. I have been on a lute kick lately. Do you ever listen to lute music? You ever look into?
No, I don't listen to lute music.
I've been listening to some because some of my classical guitar students have been doing like lute suites from Bach, and I've just been listening to more lute music. Like, do you know John Dowland?
No, I don't know John Dowland.
So he was like kind of like he's like the big lute guy back then, like pre Bach. I think he'd probably been like late 1500s. But he just wrote like a ton of lute music. It's really good stuff. But I've been playing that, and like part of me is like, I kind of want to buy a lute now, you know, because like you can play the lute music on guitar, but like lutes are pretty cool, you know.
The man that was giving me shit about riding bike earlier and is talking about lute music, rocking out.
Yeah, lutes are cool. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, what do you got against lutes?
Just saying. It's a choice that you made to bring that out into the public knowledge.
Yeah, you don't even you're
I'm not a lute guy.
you're
I'm more of a
you're
liar.
not knowledgeable on it. See, this is where liar doesn't you can't play shit on a liar, Tim. Liar's got no frets. You got like 10 strings. You got 10 notes. It's like playing a harmonica. It's like it's a bullshit instrument.
You saying that you can't play a harmonica?
I'm saying I can. I'm saying that there's like, you know,
I don't
unless
think you can.
I don't own one.
I don't think
The
you have
only
the
exception
ability.
is Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder plays like one of those chromatic harmonicas. You can play some cool shit on there, but at that point, like he switched over too. He to like a melodica or whatever because it's better. Point is, you're showing your lack of knowledge, Tim. A liar. You're saying you're a liar guy over a lute. That's questionable.
No, to be clear, I just said I was a liar.
Okay.
It's just another pun. You're the one that got all rage baity about it. And I just went with it. I just let you take that lie. Like I'm here for that. But no, I'm not a lute a liar. I don't listen to a lot of harpsichord music either.
No.
Um, I'm not too big on the gut string instruments. You
No.
know, and that doesn't make my. I've been listening to a lot of psychedelic porn crumpets.
Psychedelic what?
Psychedelic porn crumpets.
Psychedelic porn. What are you even talking about?
It's a band. It's a band from Australia. They're pretty sweet.
That's like an actual band.
That's an actual band. Yeah, yeah,
Huh, what kind of music? It's like psychedelic rock type thing.
yeah. Like riff rock.
Mm,
Not a lot of lute influence.
no. Well,
No.
if you date it back, it all came from that, you know.
Right.
Dowland was setting the stage, building up the musical knowledge for psychedelic porn crumpets or whatever you said, whatever you're talking about.
No, you nailed it. You nailed it. Yeah, that's exactly. That's how I've worked for him about. He's like telling me what he's listening to. I'm like, I'm listening to psychedelic porn crumpets, and he's like, yeah, I don't doubt that there's a band with that name.
Yeah. That's pretty cool shit though. Listen to some John Dowland.
I'm not going to.
Historical. He wrote some good stuff. He wrote lute music. He wrote some choral music. You know.
Did you write Stairway to Heaven?
No, I bet you Jimmy Page knows John. Jimmy Page has definitely listened to some John Dowland in his castle that he lives in. You know. You know, Led Zeppelin, they were about that shit, and whatever that album was where they all started playing like acoustic instruments are like My Fair Lady. You know, they got to their like Tolkien shit. They were listening to some Don Dowland.
They were always on Tolkien.
Yeah.
They were nerds. They were rock god. They were nerds running around as rock gods in women's clothing.
Yeah. Now, who else is Sting? Sting's big into lute music. He came out with like an album of like all John Dowland stuff where he's playing the lute and he's got like a friend that plays the theorbo, which is like a bigger lute.
Andre 3000 has a flute album. Have you listened to that?
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. It's really bad. Yeah, I like Andre 3000 better when he was rapping. He's stepping out of his lane a little bit, but hey, you can afford to do those things when you're a millionaire, you know?
I mean, it worked for acting too, so keep trying till you get pushed back.
Yeah. He stepped out of his lane a little bit, but hey, he's making it work. He looks like
I mean, he's also
guy.
like, he's like 50. Like, I gotta imagine like rap at 50 is a hard thing to feel motivated about.
Yeah, and we're kind of getting to the next cycle of music too, where I think it's like a while ago we hit like the first time where there wasn't a rap song in like the top 40 or whatever. You know, people are kind of cycling away to new stuff.
K-pop.
K-pop, yeah, I think just pop in general.
The same song you heard last year.
Same song I heard last year. What are you talking about?
That's what it is. So like, every song that comes out is just the same song that came out last week.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's been a long time since there's been anything creative in popular music. You know.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, especially with AI now. Like, people are just gonna turn into an AI slop fest. It's already pretty much there. So you got to get on.
It'd be like that.
AI can make pop music. You know what they can't make? Can't make John Dowland.
Do you want to bet?
They can't replicate the fine twang of the guts. You know.
You could probably ask AI to replicate a specific animal's gut strings.
It's not
Like,
as good at it. So like the thing with AI is like it's very good at making pop music because like pop music is like halfway robotic anyway. It's like it's already on
yeah.
the grid, you know, and it's sampling like millions of pop songs. But like I bet it wouldn't give me a convincing John Dowland gut string lute sound. You know, I think it would be too robotic.
I bet there's some place you could place that bet.
Yeah, right. I'm putting my next paycheck on it. It's not gonna rain next Wednesday, and AI cannot replicate the sound of
That's a
gusting.
parlay, dude. That's a big payout.
Yeah.
Well, if you're right about the AI, but it does fucking rain.
Yeah, right.
Oh, shit. Oh, man.
Yeah, whereas it's such a fucking clown world. That's what I don't keep up with shit, but like when the mayoral race was happening, it's like everywhere because like we have these like free internet kiosks everywhere in the city where it's like you just play ads on it. And it's like mayoral race, and it's like showing like live betting, like people betting on who's gonna be the mayor. It's like, what the fuck does this happen? Like, not only is internet gambling legal, but we're just blasting it everywhere, like it's mainstream.
We're gonna get rid of voting, and it's gonna be like, who's gonna be the next president? And whoever like gets the most bets, they're the president.